Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. And this is just one of those little things we were working on. Today we're going to talk about small business. Now, am I an extremely successful person? Not even close. However, I have come up with ideas that are working, and these are the same ones that I'm personally using. The result has been I've gone from being up to my eyeballs in debt to debt free with a small company that is working in the black. It makes more money than what it has to spend. This is a good thing. Now, of course, the question is, how do you get there? Well, let's start with the obvious. There's lots of companies out there, there's lots of programs out there that tell you once you're successful, here's what you do with it. But I've yet to see one out there that says, until I came along anyway, that says, okay, how do you get to that point where you can actually do what they're talking about? It's like the investors that are out there that say, if you get, it only takes $20,000 to invest money. And here's how to make it work. Here's how all of these great things can happen once you've got money. Of course, they don't tell you how to get the $20,000. So I took all of my ideas and put them into this funny little book. And yeah, like everything, like I've told people, I do write. But what I offer is tools that I personally use. Now, there will be overlap on the different videos that I do. Okay. This whole series really started because it was brought to my attention that a lot of people were missing pieces of information and would like to see more of the baseline information. Now, if you're planning on being a millionaire, I'm not the person to tell you this is how I got to be a millionaire, because I haven't got there. But I will tell you the same thing that I was told when I was a kid. When you take care of the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. You take care of enough pennies, you'll end up a millionaire. The trick is to figure out how to work with it. Okay, and how not to. Here's the baseline of it, okay? But before I get into it, I'd love to see a thumbs up on the videos. Absolutely. Please do subscribe to my channel. Okay, to get all the rest of the information. Because I'm working on putting a series of probably five different videos together. Well, technically six, I don't know. Lost count a long time ago. But the first one on spirituality, okay, I'm putting it on Sundays. This is the one on business. On Monday morning seems like a great time to do it. Get your day started right. Of course, the biggest challenge anybody has in their life, the first challenge of the day, is get your tail feathers out of bed. Now, the reason I don't go live like some people have asked is quite literally because I don't know what my schedule looks like. Sometimes I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes I wake at 4. Today, well, here we are at 20 to 9 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so where do we start? Well, first and foremost, ask yourself this. Do you actually have the drive and focus to become a business owner? Now, the reality of it is, the way it was put to me was this. An entrepreneur, a business owner, is somebody that is willing to work 16 hours a day for themselves in order so they don't have to work 8 hours a day for somebody else. Now, before somebody jumps on that idea, absolutely keep one thing in mind. If you don't like your job, deal with it until you can find a replacement. Do not quit your job without a backup. I've seen way too many people do that, and then they contact me going, I'm in serious financial trouble. What do I do? Well, it's not so much what you do as what you should not have done. If you're not happy with your job, absolutely look for a new one. Look for ways to make your current job better. Look for a different job. Doesn't matter. But quitting your job before you have a replacement income is just asking for problems. Now, if you're looking to get in touch with me directly, there's a whole list of contact numbers below, of contact points below, below this video. Check them out. Drop me a line. I'll be happy to respond, and I will do my best to get to them as quick as I can. Sometimes my life gets really, really hectic. So I am doing my level best to make certain that I don't actually make that mistake this time. So, first and foremost, from your standpoint, and it doesn't matter what I think, it matters what you think. In your opinion, do you feel you would like to make the effort and become a business owner? Write your own ticket, make your own rules, your own regulations, understanding you still have to follow the laws of the country in which you're living and the city in which you're living. You must follow the laws of the land. Okay, in other words, don't go trying to cut corners to make things happen. Take your time, plan them properly, and do it correctly. Because cutting corners, what that does is comes back to bite you. Now, I'm currently in the process of writing a book that tentatively, this is a working title, called The 4 P's of Success, which is purpose, plan, persistence, and patience. Those 4 will give you the foundation for a life that you have not experienced before. And the reason we know this is because, well, we've done the same thing. So, this funny little thing here, okay, this funny little thing here, as you're conceiving your plan, okay, this is a sheet. Now, I do not expect you to read this, and I'm certainly not going to type it out again because, well, in simplest terms, I don't have a printer yet. Haven't required one for a very long time, but this little sheet is what I call a policy sheet. Now, I've got one of these for my business, okay, and you can see a whole pile of things on it, and I'll get to that in a minute. I've got one for my business. I also have one here that I've hand done for my life. Okay, now you can see, you can see there's writing. I do not expect you to be able to read it. Heck, I can't read it half the time. But the first thing is first. How do I decide what business I desire to open? Well, here's how I did it. I sat down and I looked at it and I took a sheet of paper and I wrote down the first 12 things on the list that I enjoy doing. Now, understand, if like me, you prefer coffee, if you enjoy coffee first thing in the morning, and that's one of the first 12 things that comes to mind, write it down. Okay, don't worry about it. It ain't gonna last long. Well, my coffee will, but you write it down. Then, as soon as you've got the 12, now you undoubtedly enjoy more than 12 things. Okay, so but you stop at 12 because that's the key factor. Those first 12, you go back over immediately and check off the ones that will help other people. Now, to be clear, having a cup of coffee first thing in the morning may make you more tolerable, but it really won't help anybody else. Okay. On the flip side of that, if you enjoy pouring coffee, if you enjoy serving coffee to people, then you've got something that will help other people. Okay. Myself, I enjoy coffee. I do not enjoy serving other people coffee. Did that before. It didn't work out all that well. I was trained as a waiter. Okay. Very short-lived career. As in one day, and then I got called back to my other career, which was even more exciting, called dishwashing. So, and here's the funny thing, just a side note on that one. For those of you out there, I got a post over here to hang that on. Key factor in getting your life organized is get organized. And we'll get to that as time goes on. But key factor to think of. If you or somebody you know is a dishwasher, understand something very important. Most people look at dishwashing as the bottom end of the kitchen. Here's the funny part. If a cook messes something up, really good service from a waitress can make that meal enjoyable. If the waitress cooks messes things up, the cook can usually, if he's turning out decent food, make the meal enjoyable. So everybody wins. If the dishwasher, and that may be you, if you screw up, nobody can save it. Because your job, yes, is to make the dishes clean, but you've got to get them clean properly so that when they go out, they are clean for the customer to eat off of. But you've also got to keep the kitchen pots and pans in order. You've got to have them washed fast enough, especially in your busier restaurants. if the pots are not being kept clean and kept up to snuff, the cook cannot do their job. If the dishes aren't dirty, the waitress can't do her job or his job. And there is no amount of talking that's going to change that. This said, the dishwasher, much as a lot of people see it as the bottom of the pot, is actually the most powerful position in the kitchen. And there are a lot of people that will tell me that that's absolutely ludicrous. The manager has the power. Really, think about that. But now we get back to this funny little thing called the policies. Okay, what is now? Some people call this a manual for operations, operations and procedures. I just call it policies to be done with it. Call it what you will. What it has on it, okay, is you put on it every time you come up with an idea as to how to do something. Write down the date you made the decision, what the decision was, and why you made the decision. And then every 3 to 6 months, turn around and go back over it to make sure those policies still apply. But these are policies that apply to you. Okay, they're what you desire your business to run. Now, my understanding is a young gentleman by the name of Colonel Sanders was 65 when he opened his first chicken stand. I do not honestly know what he did before that. At 65 years old, he opens his first chicken stand. And because the staff would not do things his way, he shut the doors 4 months later. A month after that, he reopened the stores. I don't know, in all honesty, what he called the first store. If you really want to know, go look it up. The point being, a month later, he opened it up again under a new name with a new staff, and they did it his way. Now he's a household name. The same can apply to you. Now, I have every intention of aiming at becoming a bestseller. Now, I personally write in four different genres, maybe 5. Science fiction, science fantasy, self-help, poetry, reference manual, and children's. These are, now, most of these books are in print already, but I'm the only one you can get them through for the moment. I'm in the process of swinging a deal with Author House. Now, the policies, what you put on them, okay, you put on it what it is. Like, for instance, in my case, what I've got is for the 17th of this month, for the 17th of every month, okay, because I have both a job and a business, on the 17th of the month, I go through and any checks I have to write, any bills I have to pay, I make absolutely certain if I've got them, they get paid that day. And the reason for it is to make sure I have continuity of payments. Okay, if I have correspondence that I have to send out, it goes out on the 17th. Okay, like, for instance, correspondence being, I do have every intention of sending Christmas cards out to all of my clients. And yes, that can be, people go, oh, just send it out video. Well, I could, send it out in video, send it out as an email. I could. Modern technology is wonderful. I can do that. I refuse to. And here's why. It'll cost me a little more to send it via snail mail, via physical mail. But there is something special about, in my opinion, something special about receiving an actual handwritten letter or typed letter, a physical letter in your hand that you can look at and go, this is what I got. There's something special about it. Kind of like there is something special about being able to physically hang on to a book and take it with you. Now, the reason, this is one of the books from my Believe in Yourself series, in my Believing series. Okay. Now, that one is Believe in Your Business. Okay. Again, you always make certain everything fits, but there's a reason for it. Now, I've got a couple of policies on this sheet that I am just plain dumping because I'm stopping that venue. Okay, I'm working away from it. That's not where my focus is. Now, I'm not going to bother going into why I'm canceling those particular venues. It's just the way I'm going. Okay. Same as with your business. You don't have to explain everything to everybody. You have to know it in your heart, and it's a good idea to have a written record of it. Like, for instance, this funny little thing. Yes, I'm old school. Card file. Instead of relying on computers, which I have a tendency of frying, I have card files. Okay. And I keep them in hand where I can follow them. Okay. It also saves me one other hassle. People worry about computer hackers getting into their databases. Let's see a computer hacker get into my database. I've got more of these boxes, by the way. Okay. I'm not recommending that you follow the physical method. I'm referring to the patterning. Okay. Get it straight in your own head what it is you desire. Now, this is great if you're starting a business, if you've already got a business up and running. I walked into a business a number of years ago. They were very, very well established. Okay. This person already had a restaurant open. They were trying to open a second. And they contacted me because nothing they did was working. Now, do understand, I do not own a major restaurant. In time, I may. Who knows? I may get into that. That's where I started. Okay. Yes, I fiddle with things. Get over it. I do. But when they came to me, I told them, I literally said, okay, this is what you're aiming for. I found out what they desired. And this is what I do. I will talk to people. If people are, I do consult. Okay. And like I said, I took my business from being behind the eight ball to actually, quite literally in my case, when I opened my business, okay, I opened my business at approximately 5 to 12 on August 15th of 2007. Now, that's 5 to 12 in the morning. By 5 o'clock that night, I was running my business in the black. Okay, now I was a brand new business starter. Now, I'm not a millionaire. Okay, the reality is money doesn't mean that much to me. What does matter to me, okay, the material world doesn't make a lot of difference to me. I find value in the way things feel, in the way it feels to be around people. Okay, around certain people. Now, understand, there's not a lot of people I like being around. Let's face it, I'm a recluse. I stay at home for a reason. Okay, but get the idea in your head what you desire. Get it on paper. Okay, and the reason for that is so you can take a look at it and go, this is what I want. I didn't finish that thought. This is what I mean by I get a little scattered. Okay, put your list of 12 things together. As soon as you've got the list of 12 down, shortlist it, as in check off the ones that help other people. Okay, now once you've got that shortlisted, you'll probably be down to 5 or 6 items that actually help other people or may help other people. Okay, then you shortlist that one more time, and that will just shortlist it to what helps enough other people to build a business. And like I said, drinking coffee myself doesn't do anybody any good except make me potentially a little more tolerable. But you get that done, and then you start moving forward on it. It does not matter. Okay, it does not matter what the dream is. Make it realistic. And what I mean by making it realistic is this. If you want to be a rocket scientist, you're not going to be that tomorrow. You're going to have to do a lot of studying. You're going to have to figure out how things work. I should have closed that light before I started this. But okay, if you desire to start writing, start. If you desire to go into singing, well, you start off by singing, and there's all kinds of people that have done it. Rest assured, I'm not the one to tell you how to sing. So let's not bother with that, because if I've got a bucket, I might be able to carry a tune. Okay, once you've got an idea down, start putting your policies together. Now, this is before you go down and get the business license. Now, there's a lot of people that will tell you you don't have to have a business license if you're not making X amount of dollars, which is technically in Canada true, as far as I understand it. However, what they don't tell you is the difference in the feeling between having a business license and having a business account. It costs you a little bit of money for it, absolutely. But the feeling that it brings you and that sense of accomplishment that says, I've got this, is not, in my opinion, something you can put a functional value on. Okay. You may not share that opinion, and that's okay, because it's my opinion, not yours, not necessarily yours. Once you've got the idea down, get it moving. Okay, start working with it. And again, it boils down to that funny little thing that I mentioned before. And did I bring it with me? No. Apparently, no, I did so. And I show this in other videos because it applies. I am a firm believer that lists work. See, as you can see, I've got things checked off. Okay. I don't expect you to be able to read it. Okay, heck, I can't read it half the time. Once you've got the idea of what you're looking for and you've got a business, you've got the business concept, now you have to make that other funny little decision. How big do I desire my business to go? Now, some people are very content with just a stay-at-home business. I'm just making a little bit of money on the side. Some people go, I just want to run a laundromat. I just want to do that. I don't want to have a chain. I just want this one little store that generates a little bit of money and, pays for me to be able to play because I like mechanical work. And by the way, that's them, not me. Myself, mechanical work, I'm very mechanically inclined. Every time I design, every time I feel I require a mechanic, I phone them. Every time I'm inclined, I phone a mechanic. It's easier for me. However, whatever you see as desire, as the right size business for you, that's what you start working towards. Now, to be clear, like I said, I do desire to have my books sold everywhere. I do desire to have a business that can be fire and forget, that quite frankly, once it's up and running, once it's at that point, that my kids can have it and just simply they can benefit from it after I'm gone. And rest assured, one day I will die permanently. Yeah, I know that sounded weird. But the funny part about it is at 5 years old, just for those of you that really question life, and yeah, I know this is business, but again, there is life after death of a business. Okay, I had one business, it didn't work out that well, so I closed it. Okay, I also walked out of the morgue at 5 years old. Now, you can go ahead and look for records on that one if you want. Good luck with that. It was on a military base. But that said, when it comes to your life, how you got to where you are, no matter how many failures you've had, no matter how many businesses you've run, okay, my understanding is some of the greatest minds, some of the greatest people on the planet had their bankruptcies. They had failed businesses before they got where they went, where you know them to be. The only difference between you and, for instance, I'll just throw a name out there because I've heard it, but if you take a look at JCPenney, Sears and Roebuck, if you take a look at them, take a look at IBM and at Apple. They were not massive multi-million-dollar companies when they opened the doors. They were tiny little shops. Okay. Now, right now, I'm working in a room in my office. In my office, I'm working in a chair in my office. I'm working in a room in my house, in an apartment. I don't own the apartment block. In time, maybe I will. I don't know. I'm certainly not going to be buying a house. Okay, I don't see the point to it. If I buy an apartment block, that's a whole different issue. But that's just personal opinion. The thing is, every successful person started out somewhere, possibly where you are right now. The first challenge of any day, and this applies across the board, is get your tail out of bed. Okay, now, I got started late today, so it's now pushing 9 o'clock. Okay, and I've already got 3 hours in the office under my own belt. Okay, yesterday I was up doing a video at 4. The day before that, it was up at 2. It varies for me. The point being Your first step is get out of bed and get started. Get an idea in your head. Okay, and we will carry on with this. Of course, we are getting down to the half-hour mark. But understand where you're standing right now, how you got to it, doesn't really make half as much importance as where you go from here. So, what we're starting to do now is take a look at the different things you're doing. Okay, and here's a challenge for you for next week, because I'll be doing this again next Monday. This on the business. By next week, think about this. Are you content with your career, with your chosen path, with your career, with your job? If you're thinking about if you are at a point where you're already thinking of opening a business, okay, here's a challenge for you for next week. Get a sheet of paper and write down the first 12 things that you desire. Okay, the first 12 things you desire in your life. Okay, that was a policy thing. That you enjoy doing. Shortlist that 12 down to the ones that help other people, and then shortlist it one more time to the ones that help enough other people that you can possibly build a business around it. That's where you start. Okay. With a little bit of luck, we will get you up and running, and you can grow with us as we're going through changing our own business. Okay, but right now, because we're following the same thing, we'll be going through all sorts of stuff over the next week, and we'll bring you up to speed at that point. But until we talk again, oh, look at that, we still got a couple. If you like the video, absolutely give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel to get the rest of the videos. There's a lot more coming. At the suggestion and the prodding, really, of a number of different followers, we are doing more videos, in case you couldn't tell. And that is as a direct result of the encouragement that I've gotten from you. Well, maybe not you personally, but somebody like you. So get your list together of the different things that you can do, and let's see if we can get you organized so that together we can make this world a whole lot better for everybody. And we're going to just take the whole mess that everybody's in. Okay. And we'll see if we can get you all straightened out at the same time. This is not doing it my way. The way I'm talking about is simply the way that works for me. Okay, if it works for you, great. If you'd found a way that worked, you wouldn't be talking to me now. Okay, or you wouldn't be listening to me now. But that's sad. Okay, until we meet again, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.